at my long keynote address and looked around the room and said, probably this is not the best place to deliver that message. But I must start by saying that I am grateful to the President and executives of PRINPA for extending an invitation to me to open this workshop. It is timely, it couldn't have come at a better time as we approach a very crucial election, and all of us, not just PRINPA, you may be aware that we have the third cohort of the Media Capacity Enhancement Program running. The 100 journalists who were selected through a working committee that has been set up by the Ministry of Information in collaboration with PRINPA, GJA, GIBA, IPR, UNIMAC, have been at UNIMAC Jolu campus since Tuesday. And today is the final day of training. I believe some of the members have had the opportunity to train as well. So when the President and Executive Secretary read out that PRINPA wants to put together a training program for its members, I was really excited about that, because we have some key responsibilities as media stakeholders. And as you are aware, our 1992 Constitution is not a constitution that censors. And where there is no censorship, we bear individual and collective responsibility to make sure we are ethical, we are professional, and we are bearing the responsibility to make sure the right things are done. What are some of the challenges that have been confronted within the space? Over the period, Reporters Without Borders, the World Economic Forum, and key stakeholders who are looking into emerging issues within the media space have come up with a worrying finding on misinformation and disinformation. In fact, when the last Reporters Without Borders when they issued the last ranking, one of the comments was that if we don't take care, the impact of misinformation and disinformation may be more adverse than the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. We've been concerned that, especially for the online ecosystem, day in and day out with AI and other sophisticated tools, the space has become even more complicated. It's a space that you would realize that a 12-year-old or even a 14-year-old is more savvy, more exposed, more knowledgeable than even your policymaker at 60. So if we do not collectively look at it and look for solutions and say the mandate or onus lie on only those who have been elected into the executive as policymakers to tackle all the challenges that we have in the ecosystem, I believe the resolution will take some time. And it's an issue that has seen more development in a decade than in centuries. So now more than ever, we need to come together to equip our journalists, to empower our team, to offer further training so that we are on top of issues and people can even distinguish between what is journalism practice and what an ordinary Fatu will pick a phone to do to capture and put out there for public consumption. And that distinction really comes when there is display of professionalism, when ethics are at play, where you can separate the work of a journalist or the work of PRINPA members from that of a blogger or a content creator or an ordinary Ghanaian. So I believe this training is timely, and you have the full support of our ministry and government to ensure the right things are done. I was following the USA presidential debate 2 days ago, and something jumped at me. It was a positive development where the moderators, anytime a candidate makes a claim or any allegation, right after the response, they will fact check and come up with what they know to be true. And there was an instance where one of the candidates mentioned that immigrants are eating dogs and cats and all the pets in one particular community. And the fact checking came in real quick. They said, in fact, not the police, not any security agency, or credible media house has made a report on this issue. And clearly you could see the demeanor of the person making the claim, because clearly it was made without basis. And that is what, as journalists, just as my brother Honorable Tete mentioned, that is what you are expected to do. Because we are politicians, we bear some responsibility to make sure after an election we still have a country called Ghana. Of what use is a leader without its people? Of what use is a shepherd without a flock? Of what use is a president if there is no Ghana? So at all costs, the brand Ghana, the peace, the security, the stability, and everything that will make us have a country after an election should be prioritized ahead of our individual and personal interests. And that will come in when all of us as stakeholders are acting ethically. We have also seen the same global challenge of misinformation and disinformation in Ghana. And let me give a typical example. Not long ago, a gentleman said he has won the Guinness World Record for the longest cooking marathon for over 800 hours. Quickly, even the most respected media houses published without even a simple Google search, just to verify, is it true that Guinness World Record has published anything that we have changed from Alan Fisher to a new record holder? So clearly, the duty or gatekeeping duty that you think would have gone through the editorial decisions and room did not happen. Unless it is the case that maybe people are now holding phones and sitting somewhere that they are able to just create something and populate on online platforms. But I believe that is not the case. So it is my prayer that professionalism is one area that we really need to pay attention to. I was speaking to Mr. President or President of GG, I can't remember, in Koforidua, when we went for the event to commemorate the World Press Freedom Day. And we spoke as politicians and media stakeholders, and then the diplomatic corps also spoke. And I said, Mr. President, something has changed. At least working as a Deputy Communications Director at Jubilee, and also as Deputy Minister and now Minister, anytime I attended the media events, the charge was on governments. Press freedom, make sure you don't do this, make sure you don't arrest, make sure you don't do this. And for the first time, I was hearing diplomatic community members raising concerns that they are worried about the professional standards in media practice. And I said, probably they've also seen something within the space. So please, if we lose sight of the bigger picture of the brand Ghana and say because of an election which will happen in December, and right after that election, preparations and ambitions will be ripe for another election in 2028. So all hell must break loose. Ghana must deteriorate or degenerate into a situation, and we'll be mentioning countries. If you don't take care, Ghana will become like this place. I think it will not be the right direction to go. Because sometimes we may underestimate our own power of influence and clouds and pull and think it is just my platform, it will not go anywhere. But trust me, you may not be able to stop what you've started. Should we get into a situation of some other countries who have experiences with violence and war?
quite recently, even among the most developed countries, just a simple tweet from a lady in the UK, which was also reiterated by one podcaster, Ted, and some other individuals, about some killings of some children, and the lady tweeting that reliable information shared with her shows that the perpetrator is an illegal immigrant who came on a boat, who is an Arab man, who is a Muslim. The next moment, community members were up in arms. They are out there to make sure they attack anybody who fit that description and burn down businesses and worship centers and create all sorts of confusion, which even had to push the courts to bring the identity of the perpetrator or